Quilting Friends! This is Betty! Yes, Betty has arrived for our podcast 140 something. I don't know what number we're on, but we are super happy to be here, and she is this week nearly 6 weeks old as I film this. Obviously, it'll take me a little while to get it edited and share it with you guys. And we are happy fun bun time. Yeah, she's talking to you guys. We are a little on the crabby side because I tried drinking some decaf coffee, and even decaf, she wasn't having it. She wasn't all that happy with me. So I put her in her crabby outfit. I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, I wanted you guys to see my sweet little girl and just be able to enjoy hearing her make some happy noises here at the beginning of the podcast. And then when she starts getting a little fussy, we'll go do something else. We'll go do something else, and Betty will go down for a nap. But yeah, we are doing great. She is a very big baby, as you can probably see. She was born at nearly 9 pounds, and we kind of laughed about it because put her in a diaper and she started kind of doing her thing, and we joked about we didn't weigh her for a couple hours, and she went poo so many times. We were like, she would probably have been a 9-pound baby at birth if we had weighed her right then. So yeah, pretty big, but that's a good thing because she has been a great eater and fairly good sleeper. I think we've gotten our days and nights a little mixed up, and that's why we're not necessarily sleeping all that great at night, but it's a work in progress. My son James slept through the night pretty much from 11 to 6 from birth, which is crazy. So I knew I wasn't going to get that lucky with Betty. I wasn't going to get that lucky twice, right? Oh, but I am so happy. We are working out our little schedule. So Betty is having time to roll around on the floor on a quilt with me downstairs while I get a little bit of work done. She's helping me film some videos here and there. And then she naps a lot. Obviously, she's a newborn, so lots and lots and lots of naps. And I'm feeling great. I took, whoa, bless you. Bless you. What is it about baby sneezing that's just so cute? So, yeah, I took 2 solid weeks to stay in bed. I did not do that with my son, and paid the price for 14 years, I can say. And the weird thing is, I didn't expect this, but staying in bed and resting that way with Betty meant that I healed a lot of the things that were wrong from being too active after having James. So that was kind of cool. So feeling great. Now kind of looking at getting active again, wanting to walk on my treadmill while I'm working, kind of slowly getting back to that. Didn't go up and down the stairs, for really 35 days. I stayed upstairs only for a solid month, and then if I did have to go downstairs, I kind of scuttled down. I kind of slid down 1 stair at a time on my butt. So that worked out okay. And we have finally moved our office downstairs. This was the last kind of thing for the renovation and the flood last year, is we moved our office temporarily to this room, and it was filled with computers and equipment and all that kind of stuff. And we realized pretty quickly that Betty really needed this to be her room, and I'm glad I didn't move the office beforehand because, Josh was able to work upstairs. He was able to be really accessible to me right after having her and giving birth. But now here at 6 weeks old, we were ready to have the computers downstairs. We were. So got everything moved this past week, and here is a little video, just a little shot of the office and how I've set up my new desk with my cabinets and treadmill. Oh, you're starting to get fussy. We're starting to get fussy. We're talking a lot more. So, yeah, I am super happy with how my computers are set up now and being able to work on my feet and walk. I just find that to be a healthier way to work. And really enjoying editing videos and being back downstairs again. And I still have a few more things to move. Obviously, I've got the printer here, and this cabinet needs to go down, but pretty much that's the last thing. And then this will be Betty's room, and the entire closet. All of my yarn and painting stuff, all of my kind of like hobby stuff that I have that's outside of quilting is in that closet. And that's going to need to find a new home eventually. Not right this second, but eventually. Oh. Okay, I think it's probably time for a nap again. Ooh, we're so chatty. I hope you guys enjoy seeing Betty. I think she's going to go down for a nap now. Say bye-bye. Let's go, Quilt. Let's go, Quilt. Yeah, nap time. So my audio might be a little bit better now that I've moved downstairs and I've put on my mic. Betty stayed up for just a little bit longer and has gone down for a nap. I've got my monitor here so I can keep an eye on her. And yeah, I'm prepping up a little quilt here. This is some purple fabric that I've got, and I realized I needed to do a new video on fabric marking. So I've got my marking pencils out, and I'm just going to prep this up while I talk to you guys, so that way it's ready to go for that video, and you can kind of see the behind the scenes, because you know, in any video, you never really, or I never really like to start at the very, very beginning, because it can get boring to see me mark every single little line. And that's going to be something I share in the next couple of weeks. So, you know, I've been spending a lot of time just thinking through video ideas and getting things prepped up so that way I can easily film 1 or 2 videos a week. Like, that's pretty much my goal these days, is just to try and, you know, get a little bit done. Certainly not to the same level that I used to share at all. And I don't know that I'm going to go back to that. You know, a podcast every single week, Frame Quilting Friday video every Friday. You know, I was doing Mini Black Monday every Monday. So that's 3 videos a week there for a long time. And that's absolutely not sustainable with a baby. So I'm not even going to try it. I think 1 video a week is plenty. And that's working out pretty good for us so far. And then if I can handle more, I'll do more. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that's going to work pretty good. So a couple recent videos that I have shared. I did a video on moving my Janome 8200 to my hoop frame. So my Janome 1600 is the machine that I had on my hoop frame. And I liked it a lot on the hoop frame. That's a straight stitch, high-speed machine. Really like the high speed that it could go. I really like the straight stitch. It just had a very, I mean, it's not small, but I mean, it's a small-ish arm on that machine. It was only had about 5 1/4 inches of vertical quilting space. That's the height that I could stitch. And so that kind of limits the size of the blocks that you can quilt over and borders. And I wanted a little bit more space. So I moved a Janome 8200, and that's a Horizon model. So if you have a Horizon and you're wondering how much quilting space you're going to have on a hoop frame, you will have almost 8 inches, okay, so 8 inches vertical by the length of the hoop frame. And with the machine on the carriage, everything else, so it comes to about 32 inches wide. So your quilting space, if you want to think of it as like a rectangle of the space you can quilt in, every time you hoop the quilt and are ready to quilt, you can do 8 inches by about 32. And that's pretty good. That's a nice amount of space. And then, of course, to get to another area, you just simply unclamp the quilt, shift it over, reclamp it. And moving that machine over was kind of funny. I got James to help me. I actually moved it when I was super, super big and pregnant with Betty. And so he did all the heavy lifting. And then also the rearranging, and somehow has misplaced my foot pedal. I have no idea where the foot pedal on that machine has ended up. So it's lucky that I have a sure stitch regulator attached to it. So that's how I'm able to operate the machine on the frame. But yeah, I'm going to need to figure out where that foot pedal is at some point. So that was just kind of a funny thing. As I was, you know, needing to wind a bobbin, I was like, that's kind of tricky to do with the sure stitch attached. You know, I wonder where my foot pedal is, and I could not find it for the life of me. And part of that is mommy brain, you know, forgetting where things are. misplacing things. My brain, it really didn't feel like my brain was working through all year, pretty much from January until the first week in September. So 9 months of my brain really not working up to par. I just forget stuff and misplace things, and just couldn't really focus and concentrate. That was the main downside. That was kind of always the down, that was present all the time. I had some other physical issues, like lightning crotch. If you've ever heard of that, then you know what I mean. It is not any fun. I had lightning crotch that would come and go, but the mommy brain stuff, seemed to be pretty much all day, every day. Couldn't get away from it, right? But I'm not complaining. Every second of being pregnant and uncomfortable was absolutely worth it in order to have my baby girl. So another video that I shared recently is comparing the Qnique 19 to the Qnique 15s, the 15R and the 15 Pro. That's a really good video if you are in the market for a smaller long arm, you're wondering what you can do and what the main differences between these machines is. And it's really funny how sometimes I get emails a lot about these machines and what the differences are, and people will write in, oh, what's the difference other than the fact that the 19's bigger? Well, that is the biggest difference, and that's the most important difference. You are paying for 4 more inches of quilting space, and that translates directly to your quilt. So on a Qnique 15R or 15 Pro, you can quilt almost 10 inches vertical, okay? So that vertical height is important. That's basically the width of the space that you can quilt on your quilt. And it determines, like, if you wanted to stitch over an entire 12-inch block all in one pass, you couldn't do that on a 15. But a 19, you can do that on a 19 easily, because you have 14 inches, actually I think it's like 15 inches of vertical quilting space on a Qnique 19. So it's big. It's a big amount of space by the length of your frame. A hoop frame, that's going to be about 30 inches. On a continuum frame, if you set it up at 12 feet, you're going to be able to quilt across the entire length of your king size quilt by 15 inches. So a huge chunk of your quilt gets knocked out all at once. And really, the biggest key to think about whenever you're looking at this kind of thing is speed. How fast do you want to get your quilt quilted? How many times do you want to advance your quilt through the long arm? All that kind of good stuff. So if you're interested in that at all, definitely check out that video. And one more video that I have shared recently, and that is quilting this wavy border. I hope you can see this in the light. Sometimes it just depends on the angle of the light hitting the quilt that shows you what the quilting design is, especially if you're using light fabrics and stuff. The lighting is key. But this is a wavy border that I did with super slide ruler, and I did this on the hoop frame. It was really easy because the quilt, this is just a small Drunkard's Path baby quilt. This is one of the patterns that's in my book on piecing, Stitch It Up a Notch, How to Piece Perfect Quilts. And yeah, the wavy border turned out great. And I was thinking about, the different styles of quilting that we have. And this wave design, really, ruler quilting is the easiest way of doing it. With a walking foot, you'd have to mark it, probably marking almost every line. That would be time consuming. With free motion quilting, it would be challenging to evenly space the lines without marking every single one of them as well. And then following them exactly. That takes a lot of practice. So really, ruler quilting is the easiest way. Even automated, QCT, automated computerized quilting would be a challenge to quilt evenly spaced lines like this that are lining up on a mitered corner on a diagonal. So yeah, I think it's always interesting when I'm thinking about quilting designs, and especially if you're wanting a quilt to look obviously quilted by one certain technique, like a spiral. Really, the only way to do that easily is to quilt it with your walking foot, a big giant super spiral over the entire quilt. So these things are kind of, I don't know, a little geeky, but fun. So yeah, definitely check out all of these tutorials. You can find the videos linked up at leahday.com. I'm starting to post most of my new videos to the blog on leahday.com. I'm also posting to the Free Motion Quilting Project, just an abbreviated version, and then linking over so that way you can find it. just trying to figure out the best place to stick stuff. It's always the thing. Everything's always changing online, just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And that's really something I've been thinking about a lot, having such a long break, such a long time having mommy brain, gave me some time to think about what I wanted to do next. And I really feel like I've done a lot of free motion quilting on a home machine. I think I've definitely been there and done that. And what I'm really interested the most in is QCT, and that's automated quilting and embroidery. And I've been saying this for years. I wanted to get into this. I wanted to dig into it. I wanted to learn more. And then because it is such a big, overwhelming thing to learn, I kept putting it off because, of course, it's challenging to learn something new. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes energy, all of that kind of stuff. So I've decided, put my foot down, gonna happen this year, and I'm really happy. I have my first set of QCT, and that is Quilter's Creative Touch automated quilting designs. Now these designs are going to be, if you have a Quilter's Creative Touch system, and that takes GPF files. You can also buy QLI files for it, but I am actually designing these designs so that they really specifically work with this system. So that's a Grace frame or one of our long arms, or there is a list of compatible home sewing machines that you can use as well. And here's a couple of the feather designs. I've stitched them out, just playing around, testing them, and I'm super excited about this. So these are all just feather blocks. We're going to call them maximized feather blocks, and that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm hoping that that's going to be out actually when this podcast comes out. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to launch this all the same week or within a week. We'll see. As with all things, once you add a baby to the mix, you kind of have to adjust your expectations, right? And I've been doing a lot of that, definitely. So I definitely want to share more videos on the hoop frame. I do have QCT. I've had it in a box now for 3 years, waiting to add it to my hoop frame. And in order to film this video, I had the hoop frame set up down here, but then to move the office to where my desk is now sitting, I had to move the hoop frame out to the Crafty Cottage. So I got to get out to the Crafty Cottage and put that together and then put QCT on it so then I can share these new videos. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's just getting all that done. There's a lot of chicken and egg in that. There's a lot of negotiation of time and space and getting things together. So I will definitely be working on that in small chunks day by day until I get it all done. So one last little update is Heart Square. It is October, and of course this is the month of Heart Square. Just in case you are new to the podcast or have not gone back and listened to old versions, I think I've been doing Heart Square now for 3 years. So this is the largest collection of historically preserved log cabins in the United States. There's over 100 now. It is amazing, and I am going to be in costume in the quilting cabin, and that is punch size, on festival day. So that is, I think it's October 23rd, might be 24th. Heartsquare.com is where you want to go learn more about it. It is Heart Square Festival. All of the cabins are open. There's demonstrators from all over doing their thing. It's really, really amazing because not only did Bob Hart preserve the cabins, but he formed it into kind of a village that would never have existed in, real pioneer times, but it's like a fantasy world. It really is. And he has all of the old tools, like the cabin that I have quilted in for 3 years has, 3 different quilting frames set up within it. One is on the ceiling, one is a small baby quilt frame, and one is a full-size frame that it holds space for 6 to 8 women to sit around it and do their stitching. So quite a lot. Upstairs in that cabin is a huge loom, a huge weaving loom, a rope bed, and a crib. And Betty will be coming with me in costume. I actually bought her a vintage Victorian gown, and I put her in a bonnet, and I put her in it, and unfortunately she's she's so much bigger than I anticipated that it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to quickly figure out an outfit for Betty. And yeah, she's going to be there with me, possibly napping in that crib upstairs. And we are going to have a ball doing a little bit of quilting and yeah, just spending the day there. I don't know how long I'm going to be there because obviously Betty might, adjustments may be needed, obviously. But I really made the decision to try and have more kids there. And I feel like I really need to get back and bring her with me. And I really, really want a picture of us sitting on the front porch of that cabin because that's really where all of that kind of got real in my heart 4 years ago. And yeah, I really want to get back to there and back to that and bring Betty with me and have a day. So I'm crossing my fingers it's not too hard. That's definitely going to be our biggest day so far. And Josh is coming with us. I don't know if James is going to come or not. My 14-year-old has become a 14-year-old. I'm now the least cool person in the world. You know, it kind of breaks my heart. But at the same time, that's just where we're at, you know. And he got sick one time going to Heart Square and has never really liked it since. Make sure to wash your hands. That's the thing. He touched a horse, and you're supposed to wash your hands after you touch the barn animals, right? So long story there. But anyway, I hope to see you there. If you are at all interested, definitely go to heartsquare.com. So that is it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed meeting Betty today and hearing about what's going on around the house. I'm ready to do my video on marking pens, so that will be coming out soon. I hope that you will come and check out more videos at leahday.com. We do have a pretty big grace sale going on right now, so definitely check that out as well. And until next time, let's go quilt.